Welcome to Karate 360. I'm your co-host, Richard Mosdell, and we try to bring you everything you need to know that's in the know about the karate world, especially when it comes to WKF competition and training in your karate club. Let me introduce you to the other co-host,
Kalen Anglos.
Bring us in there, Kalen.
Karate 360. Let's start the show. You will kick high and I will sweep low. From local to global, it's the thing that we love.
Karate!
Sanrokumaru.
Those boxing athletes really got you hyped.
Yeah, this is actually the Boxing 360 podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Boxing 360.
Yeah, that was a time. It was good.
So you said in your social media that the fittest or strongest or mentally toughest or somethingest athletes you've ever trained with.
I think I said the boxing athletes were the hardest training I've ever seen. I would agree they are the most mentally tough as well. Yeah, they're crazy. Can
we make a team of 5?
Can we make a team of 5?
Inside joke, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, they're sparring. So basically what I did is I went to their training camp, their pre-nationals training camp, to get a bunch of data on them, to figure out the physical demands of boxing. So I had heart rate monitors on them, punch trackers, accelerometers measuring their punch speed, punch power, all this kind of stuff, as well as the recovery. And they did simulated matches. So they did 3-minute rounds.
Mm-hmm.
In the ring with a coach in the corner and that kind of thing, and they were going at it.
Oh, really?
They were in it to win it. Like, it was sparring, but they were absolutely beating the crap out of each other. Like,
so did anybody knock anybody out or anything?
No,
like that?
there was definitely bloody noses. At least 3 or 4 people with bloody noses.
And they had the headgear on.
And they had the headgear on. Yeah, amateur boxing. They wear the headgear. But yeah, they were going at it. Like, they were in it to win it in the sparring matches. And right away, I related it to everything they kind of did. I related to karate. Sometimes you see sparring in class or whatever, you might lay back a little bit, not try. No, there was no laying back. They were going for it.
Yes,
they were 100% going to win the sparring match. Like, a couple guys got cracked hard, and I was like, Jesus. One girl was crying. It was.
Were
crazy.
they being evaluated for positions on the team?
Nope, their spots had already been solidied.
So
I think it might have also had something to do with me putting all the measurement stuff on.
Okay.
They're like, I want to be the hardest puncher and the fastest puncher.
But a high competitive spirit.
Yeah. And I mean, their national championships is not this weekend, but next weekend. So I don't know. I mean, obviously the coaches wanted them to train hard. Maybe it's too hard.
Can they get a concussion from stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. I would be shocked if I could say pretty certainly that there was some head damage that was going on at this training camp. But I mean, man, they had heart and they were going for it. And just crazy. So the training camp, what they do is they get all their athletes together. This was in Salmon Arm, which is about an hour away from Kelowna. They get all their athletes there. They stay in dorms. They sleep over. They all eat together. They all train together. They have presentations every night and that kind of thing. So I was there on the first day of their training camp, and just on their first day, they went for a run at 8:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
About I think they said 8K run.
Yep.
They did a sparring session. Then they did the beep test, which I made them do, which I'll talk about in a sec. Then they did another sparring session.
Yep.
Then they did a technical session where they were doing bag work for about another hour. And then they did about some footwork drills for about another hour. So they went from about 8:30 a.m. to about 6 p.m. All day. Go.
Right on.
And what I was really impressed with is at the end of it, the last hour, they were still giving her. Like, these guys were, there was nobody complaining that they were tired or going too hard. There was nobody off on the side. They were all giving her, like hitting the bag and just absolutely giving everything they got. So I was really, really impressed with their work ethic and how hard they trained, for sure. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now, their beep test numbers. So I was a little curious how they were going to relate to the beep test numbers. Just like any sport organization that we've done the beep test on, there was some level 4s and some 5s that are not so good. Their overall beep test numbers or aerobic fitness, overall, I would say was higher than what we've seen in karate. But they didn't get a higher number than what we've seen. We've seen a 13s and 15s and a couple 14s. I think the highest they got was 12.5.
How old were we talking about here?
16 was the youngest. 27 was the oldest. Okay. So younger.
All in from Montreal?
No, they were from, well, a lot of them, but there was also a lot from Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah, quite a bit from Canada. There's one or two from Victoria as well. So the highest on the beep test was like 12 and a half, but there was like 7 or 8 of them that got 12 and a half, and then there was probably 8 or more that got 12, and then there were a couple more that got 11. So overall, their fitness was better, but they didn't quite hit the high number that we've seen with the karate athletes. So I thought that was interesting to see. But yeah, just crazy, very well trained athletes for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
a lot of fun. And then I also gave a presentation to them after, which I'll talk about as be part of my fitness training tip. But no, it was great. I got a lot of data. It's gonna help with my PhD research and all that kind of stuff. So it was a really good time. They were really thankful. The coaches were great. Yeah, it was really good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's neat that you can go out to another combat sport, have a look at what they're doing.
Well, it's just a start. I want to get them all.
Right
And that's
on.
what my dissertation, I think, is going to be, is the physical demands and performance standards of the different combat sports. The 6 combat sports in the Olympics.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was great. It was a lot of fun.
The way you described their training camp is exactly how we do training camps in Japan.
Oh, yeah? Really?
You go for a run.
Yeah.
Then you do a hard training.
Yeah.
Then a bit of a break. Then you do technical training, so it's a little lighter.
Yeah.
Then you do another really hard training. And
Yes.
sometimes you finish with like an actual in-club tournament at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's like...
Then you do presentations at night.
That's exactly what they did. And they're doing that
Yep.
every day until today. Today, Thursday, was the last day. And then they all fly home. And then they meet up again next week for the national championships in Edmonton.
Wow.
So, yeah. Interestingly enough, the coaches
Yes.
pay their own way to nationals.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought
Now,
that was
well, in the boxing system, isn't your club coach goes all the way through, right?
I think so, because
That's
the
right.
club coaches that were there, all of them I asked said that they were going to be in Edmonton. So yeah, but even the head coach Bob P, he's paying for his own way there.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I thought it was kind of interesting.
I do like, I may get this wrong a little bit, but I think in boxing and taekwondo, and they may have changed it, but you could basically, if you train someone, you would go all the way.
Okay.
And I think we need that in karate.
Yeah,
Just staying in it.
yeah.
Like, it's great that we have staff coaches when the club instructor can't go.
Yes.
But if the club instructor can go, they should be able to go all the way to the world championships.
Yes, and that makes sense, because even at this training camp,
Yep.
each athlete, when they were doing their sparring matches in the ring, they had their coach in their corner.
Yeah.
And when they had the end of the first round, they went back to their corner, and just like they would in a match, the coach was giving them feedback, telling them to do this, and back in the way you go for the next round, and the same thing.
Yeah, because like, for example, if the club coach goes all the way to the international event and get all that experience, and they're the ones spending the 7 days a week in the club,
Yeah.
right? Was it Freddie Roach said the same thing, right? Like, he always goes all the way through.
Yes, yeah.
Because he gets all that experience, brings it back to the club.
Totally.
That is intellectual property for them.
Absolutely.
If the club instructor doesn't sit at the national, international level, then they get blocked from getting that.
Right.
Now, I know some karate instructors will sit behind a staff coach, and the staff coach will let them yell all the stuff.
and I think a lot of coaches too in karate, sometimes they prefer the provincial coaches or the
Mhm.
national coaches to coach their athletes, maybe because they're not comfortable enough, or they know that maybe they're more experienced.
No, we're
or
there just to
whatever.
watch, make sure the clock is running.
That's right. Yeah,
they, don't
yeah.
have to worry about it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a great time. In
Awesome.
Seminar, I was really positive and really happy about it. And it all went great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, while you've been away, the entire world of media
Has
within
been-
60 kilometers has been here.
I know. I've seen that. I've noticed. That's crazy.
And it's still happening.
Yeah.
Let's see, 2 newspapers, 2 TV articles, on the radio.
Yeah. I saw. I think it was the CTV News video that they played. That was awesome.
That was really good.
Yeah.
So, Olivia Brody won the national championship for 12-13 girls minus 35 kilos. Amazing. Head of schedule. I think we talked about it last week, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So, but then all the media kicked in.
Yes.
And so we've just been, very grateful for the fact that obviously the club's been profiled.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we've really tried to keep the media interest on Olivia,
Yes.
not on Kenzen.
Yes. I had asked her last week when I was here, before she did all the interviews.
Yep.
I said, "How you feeling about all these interviews?" And she says, "I don't know. Like, I don't really want to do them." She's like, "I don't really know." And then I asked her again tonight. I said, "So now, how do you feel about the interviews?" She goes, "They were awesome."
That's so
She was
cool.
she was really happy. So I mean, obviously she's nervous to be interviewed and that kind of stuff to begin with. But yeah, she's loving it now. And it's funny, we came in and I looked at her, I said, "Excuse me, are you the Olivia Brody? Are you the Olivia Brody I saw on TV?" TV, and then she walked in the door. Olivia Brody,
Oh, I
everybody.
saw that. I saw that. I saw that. It's funny because this is funny, but like Sunday or Monday, I went somewhere and someone came up to me. I saw you on TV last night with their karate student.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And no, it's like I told her and the parents, like, it may never happen. I mean, hopefully it will, but it may never happen again.
Yeah.
So take this opportunity and soak it up.
Totally.
It was great. She was kind of quiet in the first couple ones, but the last one, she even had cue cards that she'd written out her answers and stuff. So I'm really, really proud of her.
Yeah.
And it's just great to be a young teenager and have that opportunity, you know, because again, like we'll frame all that stuff. We'll keep it up. I love how the club, like the wall of fame, it's going to double.
It's growing, yeah.
I actually have a ton of stuff to put up right now. So I can't wait till people walk in the club one day and like there is no white space on the wall anymore.
Just pictures everywhere.
Yeah. Like, remember that event? We went to that one.
Yeah. That'll be good. And then of course you're busy with the Canada Open stuff.
Oh wow,
coming up here,
That's
June
right.
2nd, 3rd.
That's right. There's a lot. Actually, this year already, I think we're up to 5 or 6 countries already confirmed. We've sent invitations that paid.
It's not even the end of March yet.
I know. Last time it was in May, and we confirmed like 6 or 7. So now it's March, and we're already at, I think, 6 or 7.
Awesome.
Of people.
That's
we had. Great. Who else have we got? Like we've got people now coming from Europe.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty cool. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 700-800 athletes this year. And then with the officials and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Second year in. And but I think 4 or 5 years, I was thinking like it'd be cool to be recognized as like a Series A.
Yes.
But so many people go to Series A, I don't know if we could hold them.
Right? Yeah.
But we'll see.
I think we could.
But you know what they do at jiu-jitsu tournaments? In the system, when you register, let's say it only gives 600 spaces. No matter how many divisions there are, and it figures out this division takes each match in a certain division takes 4 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever. So what it does is it says, okay, people can enter online. The system will put them in the divisions they want, but every time you add a person, it detracts 4 minutes from the 600 amounts of, or like whatever.
And then it just stops.
Exactly. Yeah. Eventually, it just stops. It figures out how many rounds you would need. Every time someone goes in, does it expand, whatever. But at a certain point, when 600 rounds are done, it's over.
Yeah.
You're done.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that might be the way.
That might be the way to do it.
Because it's not about being bigger, it's about being better.
That's right.
Being bigger.
That's right. Quality, not quantity.
Should we talk about tournaments?
Let's do it. Since we're already talking about tournaments, let's dive into a little bit of karate global news. All right, so we haven't even talked about the Series A Salzburg, which is March 2nd to the 4th earlier this month. We're not really going to break down the results step by step.
It's just a Series A.
It's just a Series A. I mean, does it really matter? It does, though, because there was 1,500. You heard that correct. 1,500 athletes and the largest WKF event ever.
That's massive.
Absolutely crazy. Kiyoshimizu won kata. That's pretty much
all we need to know.
That's all you need to know. Kiyoshimizu won kata. So there you go. That was the Salzburg Series A at the beginning of March. But just last weekend was the Dutch Open in Rotterdam, Denmark. K1.
This is the big one.
March 16th to 18th.
Top 50 in the world go these ones.
That's right. And it's got big implications for the Olympic rankings. So we are going to give you the official results from the Dutch Open again, March 16th to the 18th. And again, we're just going to give you the gold medal winners and then maybe talk about it as we go through. All right, you want the division or you want the name?
Division, please.
I knew you were going to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, female kata.
Sandra Sanchez from Spain.
Yay.
And I don't see Shimizu's name even on there.
Nope.
So she didn't go to that one. Interesting.
Or knocked out in an early round, but I don't think she went.
I doubt it. All right, keep going.
Female kumite minus 50.
From Japan, Ayaka Tadano.
Female kumite minus 55.
From Chinese Taipei, Zhu Yanwen.
Female kumite minus 61.
En français, from France, Philippe Gwendoline.
Or Gwendoline Philippe.
Yeah, maybe.
Female kumite minus 68.
From Germany, Johanna Nier.
Female kumite 68 plus.
From Japan, Ayumi Ukusa.
She's back.
back.
Female team kata.
Was won by Spain.
By the way, there's no team kata at the Olympics. And
Good.
There's no
I said
team fights.
Good.
Male kata.
Japan.
I didn't bite on that good one, but I agree with you.
Isaiah Shimbaba.
That's right.
Antonio Diaz getting second in that one for kata.
Male kumite minus 60.
From Turkey, Ire Samdan.
Male kumite minus 67.
From Turkey, Barak Ugar.
Male kumite minus 75.
Ooh, Ken Nishimura from Japan winning the minus 65. Rafael Agaev getting third in that in the tournament. So he was there. He got third.
Male kumite minus 84.
From Turkey, Ugur Aktas.
Male kumite 84 plus.
From Germany, Jonathan Horn.
Male team kata.
From Italy, or the Team Kata Championship. So there you go. That is the gold medalists from the Dutch Open. A couple things we want to highlight here. A little Canadian flavor. Rita Nyo from Canada got 5th, top 5 in kata.
Fantastic.
So congratulations to Rita. Very good, very well done there. Who else do we got here from Canada? Well, from the United States, we got Joanne Orban in the female minus 61 kilograms, got 7th place. Also from Canada, Melissa Braddock in the minus 68 kilogram kumite division took home 5th. I think that is it from Canada and the United States. But there you go. That's the Dutch Open. A lot of big names that you don't see on there. No Kiyoshimizu, no Ryo Kiyuna, no Araga, no Douglas Bros, I don't think.
Douglas Bros may have been there. We haven't gone through the actual draws.
No, we didn't. In fact, I think Douglas Bros was there. I think I've never seen a picture of him there. But just what you can see in the top 10 there, not a lot of big names. It's interesting. Interesting that, yes, what happens and who goes and how they kind of plan their training, I guess, and which tournaments they want to go to. There it is.
This is a World Championships year for seniors.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. Which are in where again? I can't remember.
Wow, you just stumped me because I was going to say Peru, but didn't they move it to Spain or something like that?
I think that's right. I think you're right. I think it's Spain.
I think they moved it.
They moved it to Spain, ladies and gentlemen. Or not. I don't know. I can't remember. So there you go. That's the results again from the Dutch Open in Rotterdam last weekend. The next K1 tournament is the Rabat, Morocco, April 6th to 8th. So we'll keep an eye on that one, see who's going to that one. I'm sure as we get closer to the World Championships, more of the big names will start to show up.
Yes.
Yes. I agree.
I agree.
All right. Let's move on to our technical, tactical training tip of the week.
Should you slap yourself when you're doing kata?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's
So
part of the kata.
it's part of the kata.
Yes.
Smack yourself.
So
I
and
remember.
how else can you make the whip?
Exactly.
Right? Especially when you like you shoot those, you gotta
smack.
you gotta
You gotta slap your arm coming down.
Yes, of course. That's
All right.
part of kata.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks for that, Richard. Moving on.
I'm done. I remember when I started karate, people would like hit their chests as they're like punching, just like, you know.
It's the same thing as not the same, but same concept. Kumite like stomping the ground, like
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
really stomping the ground. It's like, well, why did you do that?
Exactly.
But it's effective. So I don't know. Let's ask you. You're a certified referee. Do you put stock into that?
Well, I'm certified, but we'll stop there.
Yeah, well, that's more than I can say. That's more than I can say.
Certified.
Yeah. It's so funny. At little side note here, at Nationals, I was coaching a kata athlete. I was in charge of watching and going through the draws and making sure she does her katas or whatever. But I was also in charge of everybody else in the division, keeping track of if they win or they lose, what the score was and what kata they did. Well, that was an adventure because I don't know all the katas. But luckily, Nigel Nicolaisen, who is a great kata athlete here for Canada, was helping one of his athletes in the corner. So I'd go, "Hey, Nigel, what kata is that?" And it'd take him 2 seconds. That's super MP. Okay, super MP. Nigel, what kata is that? So, so you're steps ahead of me on this one. But what do you think? The slapping of the gi or
So,
whatever?
Karate by Jesse, who I know you've been texting a little bit back and forth and stuff.
Yep.
So he had an interesting article. It's not recent, but a while back he put up where he took videos of senior top WKF kata athletes and showing how like when they're doing a knife hand block, they'll be slapping one of their arms on the other arm,
Okay.
or they will just a little bit of hits and smacks. Norma calls it smoke and mirrors.
Sure, that sounds like something the Norma would say.
Yes. If you do it in a Dan test, you're going to get busted for it.
Especially if Norma's the one that's evaluating your Dan test.
I remember in Japan, some athletes, they would get their gi pants with the ride up really high and over.
Yeah.
So they could get a really good gi smack on the retraction coming back. So we've been talking about how to improve your kata, and this came up, like, when should I smack my gi? Well, you basically shouldn't.
Well, why? Why would you? Yeah.
So what you're trying to do is, these are like little subtle moves that sometimes you can't see, is as they're turning, one arm's hitting the other arm. Now, there are times when you're doing a movement where your hand is almost or literally hitting your body at some point, right?
Okay, yeah.
Or when you're pulling back or you're snapping into your body. So, and the action-reaction feeling of pulling. But you should not go out of your way to smack your body to make a sound, to make it sound like your technique is stronger.
Sure, yeah.
And the referees, let's say locally, they're really becoming aware of this, to the point where, like, at some point soon, we're going to see lists of kata just for like junior athletes where they can only do a certain list. Then the referees and the coaches will get to know those katas better because they'll only be seeing those. Then you'll know if someone turns, you hear a snapping sound, you're like, I heard a snap, but no, they slapped themselves, right? So to avoid the idea of having to slap yourself to make it look like you're increasing your speed, you need to increase your speed.
Yes.
Okay?
That makes sense.
So the number one thing we're working on the club this week is
slapping yourself.
Slapping yourself in the face.
Okay. That works for me.
Turn fast on your toes.
Okay.
So get your foot in the right position. Drive off the floor. Turn faster in your feet. And Peter Stoddart said something when he was here a while ago, which I've been using a lot, is, so a whole group of people are moving in kata, like to a count, and he could be the fastest in the room. Now, of course, Peter also says, be huge,
yes.
be amazing. That's always wonderful.
What I was gonna say, yeah.
And I think he's supposed to like shock us and show up today or tomorrow or something like that on his spring break. So Peter, if you're listening, we can't wait to have you over. So anyway, turn faster on your feet. Like, don't drag your back foot. Now, remember you're saying, like, boxers at this camp are training really, really hard. Sometimes you go to a regular training camp with karate athletes. Not all of them really push themselves.
Yes.
Same thing in the dojo. Turn faster on your feet.
Yes.
Don't drag your back foot. Don't step. Turn and leave your back foot not turned.
Move it.
Move it. Move it or lose it.
Move it or lose it.
All right?
Joker.
And then, move it or lose it.
Joker.
Joe guy?
Joker.
Joker. Is that what Joker says? Move it or lose it?
No, that's Joker. He calls people a joke. Never mind, Richard. You never mind.
I'm old.
Never mind.
I'm just like, the plugs just barely keep the brain power going. So, no, you got to move. And so the whole thing there is you won't slap yourself trying to look faster if you're actually going faster.
Okay. Makes sense.
Done?
Done.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Put your check in the mail.
Yes, that's right. Write it out to Kalen Anglos.
Now, I saw your thing you're going to talk about on your Instagram page.
Okay.
And then I realized that I finished all my wine. All of my wine for Fernando is done.
I bet it was good, though.
I have to. Actually, Fernando's going to teach you how to make more.
That's awesome.
So I need to hear this because
yes,
I'm
so
right in the ballpark
My
here.
fitness training tip of the week is the effects of alcohol on high-performance athletes. And the reason I chose this is because this is the presentation I gave to the boxing
We're not
athletes.
talking about Chinese drunken style here.
No, we're not.
Okay.
At the boxing training camp. This is the presentation that I gave. Ironically enough, when I was putting this presentation together and I was reading it, I had my beer on the side. I was kind of looking and I was like, oh, this is just irony at its finest right here. But, I'm not really an athlete anymore, so I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
But a couple things that I just want to highlight here. First of all, when we talk about high-performance athletes, we always talk about them having the different dimensions of high performance, the physical, the mental, emotional, tactical, all that kind of stuff. And it's important to know that if you're drinking alcohol, if you're drinking, it's going to affect all of those dimensions. It's going to affect all those in different ways. And those things all need to be working optimally in order for you to be able to perform as a high-performance athlete. If any of those are not at their optimum level, you're not going to be able to perform as best as you can. So when we look at being a high-performance athlete or somebody who wants to actually perform, get their black belt or get a or to get a medal in a tournament, a gold medal, you need to have all these different dimensions in sync. But drinking alcohol will affect all of these. For example, if you're in your mental state, it's gonna affect the way your brain sends a signal to the muscles. It's actually gonna slow that signal down. If you're talking your emotional state, it's gonna suppress your serotonin levels, so you're gonna feel sad. Maybe you're not gonna train 100%. And the most important, or at least for somebody who's an exercise physiologist, looking at the physical dimension of what alcohol does, it's not gonna let you recover. And as we know, it's not so much the training you do in the dojo or in the gym. It's actually the recovery that's going to make your muscles stronger or make you move faster or whatever. And if you have drinks or whatever, you're not going to be able to recover to get those adaptations. So you hear all the time, you know, if you have a drink, it shoots your training pretty much, you know, it just cancels out your training. And it's kind of true, because you're not going to be able to recover to the ability that your body's then going to adapt and be able to get, like I said, stronger and faster. It's also important to know that a lot of the research on drinking and performance and how it affects the body is based off of what's called binge drinking. You know what they define binge drinking as?
More than 6?
More than 3. 3 or more.
Wow.
If you have 3 or more consecutive drinks, you're considered a binge drinker.
Wow.
Says the World Health Organization. So that's what a lot of the research has been on. And it's also important to know that the effects of alcohol last for up to 72 hours. Actually, sometimes even longer, but 72 hours it can last. So if you're, you know, maybe you go out for some pints with your buddies on a Friday.
Yep.
Come Monday morning, I mean, don't even forget the Saturday morning training. You're not going to be recovered. You're not going to get any goodness out of that. Come Monday, you might not even be able to perform your best on that training session. So how are you going to improve in your next training? How are you going to be at a high performance level to be able to compete at a tournament? So, you know, just the training tip is, if you want to be a high-performance athlete, live a high-performance lifestyle. That means making sure your physical, mental, tactical, technical, all that kind of stuff is performing at its optimal.
It sounds like if you just want to live a healthy lifestyle.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to live a healthy lifestyle. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's a time and place to celebrate and to have a drink. And certainly under social situations, no problem. I mean, we do it often. It's
not off camera at the moment.
So you know, I think there's a time and a place for it. But again, if you want to be that high-performance athlete, you need to live that high-performance
So, you know, when
lifestyle.
people say, like, I need to go to work on Monday to recover from my weekend, you know, like, so they're binge drinking for 3 or 4 more, 3 or more drinks.
Yeah.
It's very common for people. I really don't drink more than 2 or 3 drinks.
No, me neither. You know? Usually 2 is good enough.
I'm good.
In bed.
Yes. Yeah. But in Japan, like, you need a strong liver sometimes because it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't have to drink, but so what about where is the current research on a little bit of alcohol? Like, you know how they say, like, 1 glass of wine for you every day is good for you, or
Yeah.
Or is that just like, yeah, it could be good for you in some things, but not in other things?
Yeah, and there's actually not a lot of research on that, on 1 glass of wine or that. There's, as far as I know, there's hardly any research. It's all on kind of that binge, quote unquote, binge drinking of 3 drinks or more. I know they can show that. I think it's just wine, but maybe it's with other alcohol too. But yeah, having 1 drink actually dilates your blood vessels, so you get more blood flow. So that's sometimes a good thing. But yeah, not a lot of research on that for sure.
Okay,
so
that's fascinating. So when people are like, I have a great time on Friday night, and then Sunday morning they're like, oh, I'm really not feeling the training, or it's really not coming through.
Yeah, imagine that.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
What is it for pilots? Like, if they drink a certain amount, they can't fly at all.
They can't fly at all. Yeah. And I don't know what the exact number is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 48 hours or something, 72 hours, right? So yeah, it does affect your body more so than what people think too.
I like bringing it back to, like, if you're going for a DAN test.
Yeah, totally.
Like when people are in Japan and they're like training, going out and drink. Next day they're training, going out and drink. I remember last time we were there in 2015, it was people from all over the world, and at the Watercare World Cup, and like we were taking people to the hospital.
Really?
They're dehydrated. Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
man.
almost on a daily basis. Like they're sightseeing during the day, training, hot, humid, going out and drinking, then trying to like perform the next day as you're
Yeah.
getting ready for a Dan
It's
test.
not gonna work.
It's just not going to work.
No.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's my fitness
Sweet.
training tip of the week. All right. Well, a couple upcoming events happening that we've talked about. Maybe not yet, but the U.S. Open is happening March 30th, the end of the month. That's next week to April 1st in, of course, Las Vegas, as always. The K1 next, like I said, is in Rabat, April 6th to 8th. The Vancouver Island Karate Championships are Sunday, May 6th. And, of course, the Granddaddy Canada Open, June 2nd and 3rd at the Richmond Olympic Oval.
Yes.
There we go.
Fantastic.
Those are the upcoming events in the karate world. Things are happening. Things
Hey.
are moving.
Things are moving. Do you have any trips coming up?
No, thankfully I think I'm done for a little while. I thought about it as I was coming back from Salmon Arm, the boxing training camp. Like, finally I get to rest.
You
So,
like May, you go to Miami or something like that.
Yeah, actually that got pushed back. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something with the venue that wasn't ready or something like that. But anyways, that got pushed back a little bit. So yeah, this weekend is the first weekend I think since before Christmas that I actually have some free time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
And
gonna
that
be
was
great.
me. That was me last weekend.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. That's where
Yep.
like all the coaches were like, "Yay, next week!" And I was like, "Well, I got
Yep.
one more thing to do." But yeah, so it's looking forward to it.
Right on.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, we love the fact you guys are following us, listening to us.
love it.
Absolutely. Episode 74.
Is that what it is?
Episode 74.
Just flying away.
We're getting close to that triple digits.
Triple dig. All right, well, let's wrap it up.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening, guys. We do appreciate it. Karate360podcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
Karate360 Podcast on Facebook. That's where all our stuff goes through. And then, of course, subscribe to Richard Mosdell, especially on YouTube, because his your YouTube videos are absolutely awesome. I'm loving
Oh, thanks,
them.
man.
And as well as all the other social media, myself, Kalen Anglos, on all the social media stuff as well. Follow us, talk to us.
Hey, when are you going to do your podcast again?
It's coming up. I've been so busy with school, but I'm done my teaching next week. So after that, I'm going to cycle it back through, and I'm going to change it a little bit. I
Mhm.
wasn't completely happy with the formatting of it, of me just talking about random things. So I'm going to change it a little bit. I think I'm going to maybe talk to you about maybe getting some video stuff even for this podcast, where we can look at maybe getting some video interviews or some
Totally.
Skype
That's my next
interviews.
level is I'm going to video more and then rip out the podcast.
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's coming for sure. In the next few
Yeah.
weeks, I think I'll have another one coming out. So
Sweet.
there we go. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Karate 360 podcast. Download Monday mornings. Watch us on Thursday nights live here on Facebook. We'll talk to you guys later. My name is Kalen Anglos,
Richard Mosdell.
and we'll talk to you next week.
San Rokumaru.